Imagine a civilization so advanced that it had indoor plumbing, multi-story palaces, and a thriving trade empire centuries before Rome ever existed. Welcome to the story of the Minoans, the world's first great sea power, and one of history's most mysterious civilizations. Around 3000 BCE, on the sun-drenched island of Crete in the eastern Mediterranean, a remarkable culture began to rise. These people, whom we now call the Minoans, named after the legendary King Minos, did not build their power through conquest and war. Instead, they built it through something far more elegant: trade. The Minoans mastered the sea at a time when most civilizations feared it. Their ships cut through the waters of the Mediterranean, reaching Egypt, the Near East, and mainland Greece. They exchanged olive oil, wine, pottery, and fine metalwork for copper, gold, ivory, and exotic goods from distant lands. The Mediterranean Sea was not a barrier to the Minoans. It was their highway. At the heart of their civilization stood the Palace of Knossos. Built around 1900 BCE and rebuilt several times after earthquakes, Knossos was a breathtaking achievement. It covered nearly 14,000 square meters and contained hundreds of rooms, elaborate frescoes painted in vivid colors, grand staircases, and a sophisticated drainage system that would not be matched in Europe for over 1,000 years. Visitors from Egypt and the Near East must have stood in absolute awe. Minoan art tells us a great deal about their culture. Their frescoes show athletic young men and women leaping over charging bulls in a ritual known as bull leaping. This was not mere entertainment. It was deeply tied to their religion and their sense of identity. The bull was sacred to the Minoans, which is likely where the legend of the Minotaur, the half-man half-bull creature of Greek mythology, found its origins. Minoan society also appears to have given women significant roles. Their artwork depicts women in positions of authority, participating in religious ceremonies, and leading rituals. Whether this means Minoan society was matriarchal remains debated by scholars, but it is clear that women held a status far higher than in most ancient civilizations of the time. Their writing system, known as Linear A, remains one of archaeology's great unsolved mysteries. Despite decades of effort, no scholar has successfully deciphered it. We know the Minoans were literate, we know they kept records, but what exactly they wrote remains locked in silence. Then, around 1450 BCE, everything changed. A catastrophic series of events struck the Minoan world. Scholars believe a massive volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, may have triggered tsunamis and ash falls that devastated Minoan settlements. Some believe this disaster gave rise to the legend of Atlantis, a great island civilization swallowed by the sea. Whether it was the volcanic disaster, a drought, internal collapse, or invasion from mainland Greece, the Mycenaeans, a warrior culture from the Greek mainland, eventually took control of Crete. They adopted elements of Minoan culture but brought with them a very different, more militaristic worldview. The age of the Minoans was over. And yet the Minoans left an extraordinary legacy. Their trade networks helped spread ideas, art, and culture across the Mediterranean world. Their architectural achievements influenced later Greek and Mediterranean civilizations. Their mythology seeped into the stories that would define Western culture for thousands of years. The Minoans remind us that civilization does not always rise through the sword. Sometimes it rises through the sail, through the merchant ship, through the exchange of goods and ideas across open water. They were not warriors. They were builders, artists, traders, and sailors. And for nearly 1,500 years, they stood as the greatest maritime power the world had ever seen. The sea gave them everything. And in the end, perhaps, the sea took it all away.